So let's just recap what Fed Powell said. He basically said the economy is no longer overheating. Wow, the market, though, is still overheating. He said that recent inflation readings have shown modest further progress towards their long-term goal of getting under 2%. He said that inflation isn't the only risk that we face, which was a pretty dovish comment, and he said that the U.S. job market is cooling. Wall Street has obviously interpreted all of that today as a dovish Fed, which is potentially moving us towards a true Goldilocks environment. Goldilocks is the reference of Goldilocks and the Three Bears and the porridge that was just right. And that's what the market believes they might have here in 2024, setting up for 2025. At the moment, it's all bullish leaning. However, there are some concerns and there are some things that don't add up in the charts, and I'm going to show you guys those here in this video. And we're specifically going to be looking at how high can Tesla go? Where's the end of this up move? I've got some strong opinions on that, but the market believes that they're going to have a strong economy, or at least good earnings from significant market movers, as well as lower rates by the end of the year, giving it the perfectly room temperature, modestly warm porridge in a Goldilocks environment that they would just love to consume. It means they're going to eat up and buy as many stocks as they can, and we're seeing that reflected in the S&P 500 move today, breaking out to an historic all-time high. However, there's a number of problems that we have with this scenario, and I've told you what they are. We've gone up again today on negative 56% volume, which meant that half of the buyers were pushing this market higher that would normally be active in this market. In addition to that, having lower volume, you know that we've got terrible bearish divergence on the RSI. What it looks like to me, ever since we've broken out above the ascending bearish wedge that we've been in since 2023, is the potential setup for a blow off top. Now, if you try to get ahead of this moving train, you can get absolutely run down, and so we've got to be careful. But I am eyeing those inverse positions that we talked about the other day. I am closely looking at an SQ-QQ play inverse to the QQs, but I'm not loading up. I'm watching them right now, taking little nibbles so that I can get what I call money eyes. What are money eyes? Money eyes are when you look at something and you're very favorable to it, but all of a sudden you actually get into a position and you begin to realize what you hadn't seen. And so to get the money eyes on those inverse plays, I've begun to nibble so that I can watch them more carefully, more shrewdly. Now, I've not scaled my position because this is a market moving up. And, you know, 2 weeks ago, I did a video on Monday talking about Tesla, NVIDIA, and Bitcoin. And I put a crown on the Tesla logo and I said, who's going to be king this week? Well, it turned out to be Tesla, turned out to be the local time frame king of Wall Street with an incredible run up in just the last 30 days. I'm going to get to that chart, but I'm just excited talking about it. We are near 93% up from its swing low, and I'm going to lay out a path to 110% ultimate destination, but there's a couple hurdles that Tesla has to jump over. We know that one of them is earnings here down the road, but at the moment we're not getting any of a slowdown in momentum. We're actually running pretty hot still, and if you follow the life cycles of a bullish move, you know that it goes in waves. We haven't even had the conclusion of the first wave up on Tesla, which means that even after momentum slows down, all the people that have been locked out of the stock and are just having incredible FOMO are going to use the very first pullback as an opportunity to get in and to participate, because they're afraid they're going to miss their opportunity. They're worried this is going to go up to $300 and $400 without them. And so that's what causes these waves of bullishness. And we're not even through wave one. I keep talking about Tesla, but I got to hold off on that. That's coming up here next. Guys, this is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for joining me. I just want to right off at the top mention that I'm going to be doing a live with the Stock Squad on StockMo's page today at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's an a great opportunity for us to dialogue more casually and to express opinions on the market as well as hot stocks and give out plays that we're in. Don't miss it. I think this is going to be a good one. I'm excited to talk about Tesla some more, and I'll be bringing it up if it's not brought up, but I'm sure it will be brought up this evening. So don't miss that live. Guys, thank you for the likes. Thank you for just dropping a heart in the comment. I appreciate you joining me today. The Stocks with Josh Discord has been absolute fire. Making money on my own plays, but I'm seeing a lot of people in there. We've got some pro traders who are killing it, making $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a day. And I see them offering advice and coaching all the other people who are just getting started. I also had a couple plays I've got to acknowledge from Stock Brother. I brought people to this party, not just myself, giving out TA and trade alerts. One of them is a guy by the name of Stock Brother. He's one of my crowned traders, and I brought him to the party because he focuses on penny stocks, which are definitely higher risk, but it's something that small accounts can use to build up their portfolio. People that are literally just beginning with $100 and they want to take a more risky approach. Now, that's not normally the stuff I focus on. I'm largely trading the SPY, the QQQ, large ETFs, and the Magnificent Seven, mostly Tesla and the SPY, but I like to have him in there to focus on it. Now, he's drawn out two plays that have both popped this week, giving people the opportunity to make some very nice gains. I want to shout out and say congratulations, Stock Brother, on those wins and for guiding Stocks with Josh community to making some money, chasing that paper with the penny stocks. Let's go check out those two charts of what he shouted out this week and see how they're doing. The first play that he gave was this JAGX, JAGX, and it was alerted on July 8th at $3.95, and this thing has popped up. He also has told people to put in a tight stop loss. Now, his goal on these alerts is to make just 10%. Now, sure, things can pop and you can make 100% on any given penny stock play, but he's pretty responsible with these, and his goal for JAGX was to make a 10% move, which he got, and then he advised put your stop loss in. Now the next one, which is doing pretty well, and this thing has really taken off like a rocket ship today, and that is PRST Automotive, having a beautiful squeeze. He also alerted that one July 8th when it was around 7 cents, and here it hit 9 cents, a beautiful move. This thing is up 10% today and an additional 13% after hours. Got to give the man some credit on bringing some winning plays to this community. He's providing step-by-step instructions on those plays, and he's dropping plays there every single week so far. Guys, if you don't know what the Stocks with Josh Discord is, it is the Chart Goat University. Now, that's where you are going to become the master of your own charting and financial journey and learn how to get control of those charts and understand when you've invested in something, whether it's in long-term decline or whether you've made a good decision. Now, you ought to know when something is in decline or whether it's popping off just by looking at the stock price. But the fact is that some people hold their losers longer than they hold their winners, and the way to overcome that is to better understand the charts. Now, I dropped my first micro class this week talking about ascending and descending channels, and today I had an opportunity to provide a chart that was a beautiful illustration of what I was teaching in that micro class, and I want to show it to you guys real quick. So the stock that I talked about today regarding these channels, these bearish ascending channels, was Baidu. Now, Baidu's been on a very long trend downwards, and I wanted people to understand in that micro class exactly how do we confirm and know whether a bearish ascending channel is going to be a continuation to the downside. Now, I just want to point out a couple things. Now, Baidu had a beautiful pop-up today, and it did it principally because it had been extremely oversold. But if you go back in history, you see that it has previously been oversold and gotten a nice pop up. But what it failed to do previously, it might fail to do this time, which is to make a higher local high above the structure of the bearish ascending channel that had originated the breakdown or had last broken down. And so you guys can see that in actuality, for this to go bullish and not just be a long trending downward move, the price that Baidu actually has to overcome is $112.70. That is the price of the previous structure high that the shareholders last lost before Baidu fell all the way down to $87. And so If it is a repeat of the last time that it did this, you see that on the RSI, it failed to ever get back into the overbought territory, falling short of right beneath overbought, which really means that there wasn't a lot of buyers interested in the stock. There were simply people closing short positions because the bearishness had become overheated. The bears had got exhausted at the mauling of the shareholders, and so they simply took a breather, walked away, rebuilt some energy, took a little dab of honey, and came back with more vigor to tear up those shareholders. So what you want to do with Baidu is you want to watch that 112 price, because that's where the long-standing trend potentially could reverse if the price gets back above. Now, one of the interesting things that I'm going to segue from the Baidu chart to the Tesla chart is we actually have something similar that we're trying to achieve in that chart to get out of the long-term bearish trend that we've been in Tesla. And you might say, well, Josh, wait a minute. I thought we were already out of the long-term bearish trend when we broke above that historic line of resistance. Well, that was the first step to getting out of a long-term bearish trend on Tesla. The second step is to go above the price of the previous local swing high, and we have not done that yet. So let me just take a minute and take you guys into the Tesla chart and give you guys my thoughts regarding what will happen there next. Okay guys, this is what we've got playing out with Tesla. I've marked all of the important price points on the chart, and I've pulled up the RSI. Now we're looking at the daily time frame. You guys see that we have a somewhat awkward but bullish inverse head and shoulders pointing to this up move. We got the confirmation of the breakout of that bullish inverse head and shoulders when we got above the price of 201. Now, interestingly, when I've done this deep dive into the technicals, I've observed that the $200 price range is still the price range to watch for long-term support. Now, a lot of you guys right away just thought you heard me say that Tesla's coming back to 201. And I do want to put that out there as a caution because it is possible. Some of you would be saying, man, if it came back to 201, then I'd finally load up. Well, and that would be an opportunity if you're a long-term Tesla holder. I wonder whether you would truly line up, because that's what everybody says until it starts moving that way and everybody says, oh, that move up was a fake out, Tesla's a dead dog, and I'm just going to be too afraid to buy when it actually hits 201. So I'd be curious how many buyers there actually would be. I would be a buyer because I believe in the long-term view of Tesla and all the opportunity within that company. But here are the things I want you to watch. First, I want to point out that we're still on leg one of the overbought RSI move. And I just want to remind you that bull moves come in waves. Now, this bull move was especially strong because it had the trifecta of strength, which was price, volume, and momentum were all in alignment. This was a true bullish move. We're still in phase one of that bull move, which means, again, that when we do get a pullback, there's going to be a ton of people that have been locked out of that bull move who are then going to pile in. And so that's the first thing I want you to understand. We do not have bearish divergence on the RSI. Now, the second thing I want to point out to you guys is this area of 266. Now, this is an extremely important area because, as I was saying a moment ago, this was our last swing high. And so we've come up to it. And if we do not close above it, then technically this would not have broken its long-term trend down. We will have simply made a lower high in the course of the last year and a half. But since we have as much momentum as we do, I'm still expecting that we will, but we need to watch the 266 level very carefully because this is where the bulls and the bears are going to fight some more. The bears are going to show up at 266 and put on a full-fledged battle, which I'm expecting it to get choppy. So far, it hasn't really been that choppy because price has been steadily moving up. Now, the white thick line is marking two things. It's marking earnings as well as a potential bullish move. That is 292. If we do get a close above 266, that confirms that we are actually on a greater move to come up under $300 in 2024, which was my original Tesla prediction at the beginning of this year, that we would see a $300 Tesla again in 2024. But yes, I started to question it, and I pulled that target down to 240, which we recently blasted through. The bottom line is I was bullish, and the fact is that even now, I am believing that the Tesla run still has legs. Now, we've got a handful of days before we get to earnings, And I think that if we do continue to run, I imagine there's going to be some potential profit taking by the smart money when we get to earnings, unless Elon has absolutely done something that's a market surprise. I want to remind you guys of one of the reasons why Tesla is running is because we have that dovish Fed, and that's why I led with talking about the dovish Fed at the open, is that this provides the belief that we might see interest rates drop this year, which I've been saying all of 2024 would be extremely bullish for Tesla. Now, the white dotted line on this chart reflects the opportunity of the inverse head and shoulders move that could push us up to 292. Since we have confirmed the bullishness of that move, that would be the fulfillment of the complete move. And so I do believe that even though we might put up a battle at 266, ultimately, as long as we hold this last number, I want to bring to your attention 252, that's when, as a bull, you need to take precaution. That's where you might put a stop loss, because if we lose 252, then it means that we're truly having a bigger pullback. Where could we pull back to? Well, the only place where we've got true support is 200. Not predicting that. I'm just advising that that's where all of the base of buyers are formed at 200. There was little resistance above because of how long it had consolidated beneath 200. That's where all the buyers are, and that's where people will continue to hold. That's where long-term buyers might buy some more because there's a strong base right at 200. Well, let me know in the comment section if you have any questions on my Tesla overview. I've been providing daily updates on Tesla in the Stocks with Josh Discord, giving my thoughts there every single day and the targets that I have next. And I'll also warn if I see some form of a breakdown in the charts, which I haven't seen. But if you need those day-by-day calls on Tesla, come over and join the community. I'm going to leave a link in the top pinned comment and the description of the video for the Chart Goat University, where you can get TA trade alerts from myself and others and help simply learning how to navigate these choppy markets. And guys, on that note, it's going to get choppier. I'm going to end this video taking you guys into the SPY and just remind you of what we've got going on there and let you know of a trade alert that I announced this evening right before market close. Okay, first thing I want to say before we get into my chart is I want to talk about a TrendSpider put out an alert regarding a bullish cup and handle move on the SPY that was fulfilled when we got to today's price of 561.48. And so what is very interesting there is that that is the fulfillment of that move. Now, can we continue to go higher? Absolutely. But typically, when people have a target for taking profit on a bullish chart pattern, that's normally when they do take profit. So let me take you into my chart and show you some of the things I'm watching this week. Okay, I'm going to keep it very simple. You know that we have decreasing volume. Let me show it to you guys. Look at that. Volume is just simply falling off the edge, right? That is very bearish. And then we know that we've got bearish divergence. Let me show that to you. So you have a price that's moving up, and right now, because of the bullishness that we've recently seen, we have a little bit less bearish divergence, but because this is flat and the price is up, then there is still bearish divergence. But here's the price points that you need to watch. So we could be setting up here for some kind of a blow-off top for 2024. Now, there are still plenty of bullish things driving this market higher. I talked about them. The opportunity for lower interest rates with still strong earnings, and the fact that the labor market is not in capitulation. All three of those things are absolutely telling Wall Street that this is an ideal market to invest in. And so you do not want to go short on this market until we get some confirmation. Now, I did give a trade alert for the SQQQ recently, as well as some SPY puts at close, because the market had heated up and it's moved very quickly to the upside, and because, just like TrendSpider noted, 561 is an area where there's technical resistance, and so it could be setting up for a little bit of a battle there. And so I thought I would try my position with a stop loss, of course, as well as controlling my position size. I can always scale once there's a confirmation to the reversal in trend. And I mentioned on one of my earlier videos this week that anytime you're above a trend line, which has served as resistance for over a year and a half, it is potentially setting up for a bull trap. Now, if we close out this week because the banks report strong earnings and the Fed's dovishness was a result of the fact that the CPI and PPI are going to come in as expected or better than expected and give us this really bullish storm going into the end of this week, well then yes, we could just build momentum over the next 2 weeks and potentially go as high as 580. We do not have confirmation of this market breaking down, and we're seeing all of big tech pushing and touching its highs, which means that that's the trend. The trend is still up right now. But when you take into consideration the low volume and the fact that we're at resistance, then you want to begin to take caution. I have people ask me in the Discord if it right now is the time to buy Tesla calls. And I repeatedly say, no, this is not the moment to buy Tesla calls. This is the time that if you're in it, you watch with caution. No, this is not the time to buy NVIDIA calls, not saying that they couldn't make money. If the plan was just an intraday scalp and you were going to buy and hold for maybe under an hour, yes, you could possibly catch some of this real choppy market moving higher, but it's not time to load up on these high quality names after a year and a half of a run up and an extremely hot market that's already showing signs of weakness. Guys, that's it for today. I'm going to be giving more thoughts and commentary and answering questions this evening on StockMo's Live. Don't fail to miss that. I'd love to see you guys all over there. Take a minute and hit the like for me. If you need help learning how to become the master of charts, then hit the subscribe, because I'm always teaching on the charts each and every day. And even better yet, come join the Stocks with Josh Discord, where we're going to be dropping micro classes Tuesdays and Thursdays. Another one's coming tomorrow. And then throughout the week, I'm going to be giving trade setups and answering questions. It's a great community. I look forward to seeing you guys over there. Appreciate each and every one of you. Good luck on your trading tomorrow. The markets are getting pretty choppy, and so you need to be careful whether you're in a call or a put, or if you're in shares, you need to be careful because the markets are definitely at an inflection point. But we're going to know a lot going into the end of this week. And if everything aligns bullishly, like I've talked about in this video, then Friday could really be a crazy day. We're going to be watching it carefully together. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk about it more soon. Peace and blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.